Hey everybody, this is Ryan Cozy. Just wanted to give a brief update in regard to our push toward discipleship in the context of circle groups. Hey, if you were here this Sunday, you heard a great message from Pastor Jerry, and on the front end of that message, he just had a great announcement about how our discipleship content is now up and live and available. I just want to point out there's two real easy ways for you to get access to that material. Probably the easiest is to go to discipleship.thechapel.com. The videos, the reading, the curriculum associated with all of our attempt to help cultivate an atmosphere of discipleship in this church, it's all there. It's all available. In addition to that, you can also go to the chapel bookstore. You can call in or you can physically go to the bookstore and place your order for the discipleship material. We'll have some DVDs. We'll have some workbooks that'll be available here very shortly. One of the goals that we just want to communicate to you all about is that by the end of the first quarter of next year, it's our hope that every circle group will have gone through the discipleship resource that we've just created. The thing that I'm most excited about within it is I think that it's manageable. There's 10 sessions. There's some pre-reading on the front end. There's a nice video. And then there's a series of questions in 3 different domains. Number 1, talking it out. Talk through the questions with your circle group. Number 2, work it out. Work out the questions in your own life and then also in the context of community. And then finally, there's a challenge section, which is we call live it out. So in your going, how can you live this out to be the light of Christ in a lost world? And so it's our hope and our prayer that you'll see that resource as being very helpful and very insightful. If there's any questions or concerns that you have, you can reach me here at 631-2636, and my extension is 227. But there's other resources that we have available, and I want to point those out to you as well. Probably most tightly connected to our mission statement is the Discipleship Resource. And so for any new circle groups, I would start there. And for existing circle groups, we'd ask you to make this a priority this year. And if there's questions that you have about this, feel free to reach out to me. But there's another resource that's really helpful as well. And on Sunday morning, if you ever turn over your sermon notes, you'll see a series of questions that are basically birthed out of the outcomes that we value here at the chapel in the context of the message that you're hearing on Sunday morning. And so the sermon notes are a great opportunity for circle groups to stay at the hip of the message that we're going through, but also the mission that we're trying to follow God on in Western New York. And that mission is that we want to join God on his mission here, which is to give every man, woman, and child with repeated opportunities to hear, to see, and to respond to the gospel message of Jesus Christ here in Western New York. And so the sermon notes are another great resource that's readily available every week for you, and we would strongly encourage you to consider using those as well. The last thing that I want to be real sensitive to, but also see as a resource is, there's the reality is that sometimes we go through seasons of life or situations in life. You might be having trouble in your marriage. You might have some financial difficulties. You might have some challenges with parenting. You might be an empty nester. You might be going through the diagnosis of a disease or an illness, or maybe you're losing someone who's really close with you. The reality is we want to be really sensitive to that. While we want to stay on mission with what we sense God is asking us to do in Western New York, we also want to be good shepherds. And so when there's seasons or situations of life that come up, and if you feel that as a circle group it's good for you to address those issues, go for it. And at the chapel we have a series of resources that we think could be very helpful. And so please feel free to stop by and take a look at the information that we have available. Again, it could be a number of different things. But the one thing that we want to do is as we try to pursue God on his mission here in Western New York and stay closely tethered to that, we also want to be good shepherds. And so if people in the context of this church are struggling or dealing with things, we want to minister to the needs of those people and help them as they go through that process. Because you know what? Sometimes those very things are key to our spiritual formation as well. For those that are going through the struggle directly and for those of us that are surrounded by those going through the struggle. So please know that we have curriculum and resources available. Feel free to stop by the chapel and ask for information regarding that. In closing, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership, your volunteers, and we're grateful for your volunteering in the domain of circle groups. We want to be good servant leaders as well. And so if there's anything that I myself or Jesse can be doing better, please call us, 631-2636. I'm at extension 227. Jesse's at extension 255. You can also reach me by email at rkozey@thechapel.com, or you can reach Jesse at jpohle@thechapel.com. God bless you, gang. Have a wonderful week.